So nice to see everyone here. My name is Juliana Birkhoff. I work for the Center for Collaborative Policy, which is a part of Sac State University. And I'll be here today to help things move from session to session smoothly as much as we can. So I'm going to turn now to Leticia Perez from Kern County, who works with the CSAC, to give you some opening remarks.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I am Leticia Perez, CSAC's first Vice President and a Kern County Supervisor. Thank you for joining us today for California Counties Cannabis Summit. It's great to see so many counties represented today. Cannabis comes with a once-in-a-generation responsibility and, of course, opportunity to develop an entirely new state and local policy area. Every one of our 58 counties is being impacted by the legalization of cannabis. Whether you're a rural county like Humboldt or an urban county like Los Angeles, or a mix of the two, like my own home county in Kern, you are most certainly facing challenges involving cannabis-related issues. Given the significant impact that cannabis regulation will have upon our local government operations, CSAC, RCRC, and the urban counties of California have collaborated on developing this summit today. I am very confident you will find it a great investment of your time. I want to personally thank our county associations for taking the lead on this key issue. We are recording today in full and will make all the presentations and video available for the broader county family.
So let me turn now to Bob Williams from Tehama County.
I got to admit, Leticia's a hard act to follow. So, my name's Bob Williams, and I am the current chairman of Rural County Representatives of California and a Tehama County Supervisor. Now, our statewide advocacy organizations have been at the forefront of cannabis cultivation and discussion for the past several years, and it's imperative that we remain in this position as we have a stake in shaping the broader statewide landscape of cannabis regulation in California. Whether discussing the legal or regulatory landscape or the cultivation, processing, distribution, and sale, cannabis is dominating discussion at the local government level. And I know at our county it dominates it pretty much every single week. We have somebody coming in and talking to us about it. You're here today because you'll be playing a role in shaping and implementing this policy. We have a busy day ahead today, and we'll start in a few minutes with a presentation from the Bureau of Medical Cannabis Regulation. That is the new name, isn't it? Yeah. And after the morning breakout sessions, we'll meet back here for a roundtable discussion on what's happening around the country. We have a full day ahead, and thank you all for joining us.
Carole Groom from San Mateo.
Thank you and good morning. My name's Carole Groom and I'm a supervisor from San Mateo County. I'm also vice chair of the Urban Counties of California. We've assembled a really diverse county-centric agenda for today's discussions and hope that you will find the main speakers as well as the breakouts to be really valuable and take a lot of information back home with us. The breakout sessions focus on key cannabis issues. This morning you'll have a choice of attending a session on taxing, banking, and financial impacts, or cultivation and environmental impacts. In the afternoon, we have sessions on working with the industry as well as licensing and land use. We really hope this summit will be educational and assist you and your members of your Board of Supervisors and your county staff in really figuring out how we're going to deal with this at the county level and the kind of regulations that we're going to apply for the local level. And it's our choice what we do at the local level. So enjoy yourselves and thanks for being here.
Great. So our speaker for this morning to open the presentation, Alex Traverso was appointed Chief of Communications at Bureau of Medical Cannabis Regulation in California Department of Consumer Affairs in 2016. He's been the Assistant Deputy Director of Corporate Communication at the Lottery, Since 2008, he was also the Communication Director in the Office of California State Assemblyman Lloyd Levine from 2006 to 2008. Before that, he was the Deputy Press Secretary for Speaker Fabian Nunez, Public Relations for the California Exposition State Fair, and the Assistant Press Secretary in the Office of the Governor. Mr. Traverso earned a Bachelor of Arts in English from the University of California, Davis. So, Alex.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Thank you for having me here today. Obviously, I am not Chief Lori Ajax, as you can probably see, and I apologize for that. If there were any way she could have been here this morning, she definitely would have. The legislature has a way of sort of throwing a wrench into things from time to time, and so she's over at the Capitol, but told she may drop by a little later to say hi. So thank you for having me. And I'm sure there are a few of you in this room who have heard her speak on an occasion or two before, so maybe hearing from me might be a different change of pace for you. So we'll see if we can have a little fun. And I did put on this tie this morning for all of you, so but least I could do. As mentioned, I'm the Chief of Communications for the Bureau of Cannabis Control. That's actually our official new name, so write it down, and it's official. We're actually going to be branding that, so it's set in stone, hopefully, at least for now. We've had enough name changes, I think, in our brief history, so let's get behind this one. Wanted to start off with just a tiny bit of background. I don't want to bore you guys with information that you already know, but everybody knows how the Bureau was created and all that sort of a thing, and how we were sort of happily moving along with our medical cannabis regulations when November rolled around. And just as an aside, that's when the governor appointed me to my current position, and I actually started the day before the election. So sort of interesting timing there. And when you think about the timing on that, it seems like such a long time ago that it's amazing how 8 months on this job can feel like 8 years. It's a lot going on. So unfortunately, at the point in time that I started, I missed the opportunity to participate in a lot of our pre-regulatory forums, which I'm sure some of you, actually, how many of you have been to one of our forums before? Pre-regulatory, okay, pretty good. So there have been many opportunities for the Bureau to get around the state and hopefully, interact with everybody in the room. We may be a small Bureau, but we obviously have a lot of energy, and as Chief Ajax is a great example of that. Like I said, if she had the ability to clone herself and be here today, I'm sure she would have done that. So anyway, as you all know, the Bureau and our partners at Food and Ag and the Department of Public Health, back in April and early May, we put out our proposed medical cannabis regulations and went through our public comment process. Right now, one of the primary things we're working on is going through the thousands of comments that we've received. How many of you commented on our regulations? Nice, okay. Thank you for taking the time to look through what I'm sure was countless pages of regulations there. That's pretty good. We appreciate the effort. So we're looking through everyone's comments now, and as you know, the Bureau will be responding to those comments. You'll see the transcripts from each of those 4 public comment forums up on our website, bmcr.ca.gov. Those will be coming out very soon, and we will be sort of grouping. As you can imagine, we got a lot of common themes in our comments that we received, so we're going to be sort of grouping the responses to comments in themes. You'll see that. And in addition to that, we got plenty of emails as well. So people came to our comment forums. They testified in the open forum there. They sent in emails. We got tons of comments every imaginable way. So like I said, now we're working on getting those transcripts up, and they will be coming soon. In addition to that, all of us, I'm sure many in this room as well, we're anxiously awaiting the governor's action on the trailer bill, on SB 94, that was recently signed into law and gave us the cleverly acronymed MAU-CURSA. It's amazing with the amount of work that went into that trailer bill that we couldn't do a little better than MAU-CURSA, but hey, it's the love child of MCRSA and ALMA. So That piece of legislation has given the Bureau sort of our blueprint, our direction for how we're going to proceed with our regulations this fall. And that's what our focus is. Now that it's been signed, as most of you probably know, we're going to be withdrawing our medical regulations that were proposed. That will likely happen in the next couple of weeks. Around August 1st is the date that I heard. We'll pull those back. However, obviously the work that was put in on those regulations and the comments we received are going to be incredibly valuable for us moving forward. So thankfully not an exercise in futility. This is something that has been extremely beneficial to the Bureau. So up ahead, some of the things that we're looking at. I know that a lot of you are specifically focused on the regulations and the work that we're doing and what's going to be in them and how to proceed and all that stuff. But I really also wanted to give you sort of the broader picture of kind of what the Bureau is up to right now, because there are a lot of things happening at the same time. So hence why I brought the notes, because I don't want to leave anything out. Along with the trailer bill, we obviously got a new state budget. And for the Bureau, that was a huge deal because when we were operating on a budget just for the purposes of creating medical regulations, and then we received the adult use half as well, we need to hire more people. And that's one of the big things that we're working on now. We're trying to ramp up and hire. We've got less than 6 months to go, and we need people to make our programs robust, up and running, all that stuff. So we're hiring, and I'm very excited to throw that out there, because for the longest time we've had about 15 employees doing this work, 15 full-time staff. We may be up to 20 by now. Haven't looked at our little in-out board recently, but we're growing and we're going to be hiring a lot. So between now and probably the end of the year, I think our number is going to grow from maybe 20 to 75 to even 100 people. So I'm going to go back and say that I was only partially telling the truth about the tie. I'm actually interviewing people this afternoon. So I kind of wanted to make a good impression on that front too. I'm hiring a media assistant to help me out with some of the work that I do. So I'm really excited to finally have some help on that front. But that's just one of the many jobs that are to come. All of our jobs will be posted on the BMCR website, which will become the BCC website hopefully very soon here. So it's really exciting to have that many people coming on board. We're moving ahead. We're ramping up. We're getting the regulations up and rolling there. So it's exciting to bring people on board, see that growth, bring in new energy, and it's incredible. Unless you're terrible with names like I am, so that'll be difficult. But adding new staff also means that we've outgrown our office in Natomas. We're going to be moving. We have been housed inside the Department of Consumer Affairs, and so we've outgrown our space rather rapidly. And so we're on the hunt for a new office. So we're going to be moving with the idea of moving into a new space November 1st. So as you can see, there are a lot of things that are happening sort of concurrently, and it's exciting, also maybe a little daunting. That's going to be right around the time that we'll be noticing our new regulations. So we're shooting for late fall for the new regulations. The process is obviously going to be a little bit different than what we saw with the medical regulations. We won't have the 45-day comment period. It's going to be a 5-day comment period because of the emergency authority that we're enacting to get these regulations done by our mandated date. But there will be opportunity, and I think this is probably a good time as any to say, just because we're not in a public comment period doesn't mean that you can't comment. We are always taking public comment from folks. So whether it's picking up the phone, calling me, emailing us, dropping by, coming up to us at an event like this, we're always taking input. We're always looking for feedback. So we appreciate everything we've gotten to this point, and we're looking forward to more. So in addition, this fall we're also going to be ramping up our licensing program. We've got our IT system that we're currently propping up here. And that's going along well, so we're confident in that. I'm sure many of you saw that Food and Ag selected the track and trace vendor recently. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Franwell, who's been doing work in other states with the Metric program. And all of this is going to require an incredible amount of public education to let people know kind of what's going on, communicate what the Bureau's up to, and that's sort of where I come in. So we're going to be working to try to continue to keep that open line of communication. And as we move forward, we're going to, toward licensing and applications, we're going to do a couple of public workshops around the state so people can have an idea of what to expect, how to make the licensing process as seamless as possible, because again, we're going to have a short window of time where we're going to be starting to accept applications. We know there's going to be a lot of interest, people are going to be ready, and we want to make that process as smooth and as easy as it can be. So we want to really take the time to educate folks on what they're going to need to do. So yeah, we want to continue to involve everyone in the process and encourage everyone to participate in our regulatory process. And that's really one of the things that even before I started working at the Bureau has always impressed me about the work that the Bureau and Chief Ajax were doing, is really the willingness to listen to folks, to learn from people who have been at it a lot longer than we have, that have a great deal more knowledge about what works and what doesn't work. And so that willingness to listen is going to continue, because we need all of you. We need all of you to participate in the process, to offer your feedback, your guidance, and we're always willing to accept that. So since we're talking about communicating and staying connected, and I'm Chief of Communications for the Bureau, I thought that I would throw in a little self-serving section here and talk about the ways that we communicate with folks and see kind of a little bit about how you get your information. How many of you have signed up for our listserv? You know what that is? Okay, good. And we also have our Facebook and Twitter sites, which are both at BMCR Info. We try to continue to put some interesting stuff up there, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. And then we also are doing a lot of work on our cannabis web portal, the sort of one-stop shop that we are working on in coordination with Food and Ag and the Department of Public Health. That's cannabis.ca.gov. If you haven't gone there yet, I would encourage you to check it out. We're going through a little bit of a revamp process there as we are going through the rebrand, like I had mentioned, and officially changing our name to the Bureau of Cannabis Control. We're going to have a new website. We're going to have new information on the cannabis web portal. So I would definitely encourage you to keep an eye on those sites as a way to help get some information and get the latest news. So we're really excited for that and be on the lookout for that. And so I know I want to save some time, a good deal of time here for questions. So sort of in kind of wrapping up some of this, I want to really want to thank all of you one last time for your support, your effort, all the work that you do, having me here on short notice, getting me out of jury duty, which was actually really great. If I wasn't here, I was going to be in jury duty this morning, so thank you. This has without a doubt been sort of the most difficult yet rewarding job I've had in my years of state service. Listening to my own background being thrown out there, I'm amazed that 3 governors have appointed me. I find that very fascinating and brave of them. But this job has been all that I've expected and more, and I think that it's going to be that much more rewarding when January 2nd rolls around and we've achieved our goals. And I know that we're going to do that, and I think that California we're in a unique opportunity here to be a state that other states look to as an example of how to get this regulation done. And I think that that's something that we're all going to be able to take pride in at the end of the day, because we all have a big role in it. So thank you guys very much, and I'm happy to take any questions you guys have.
Can you go into the track and trace contract that was awarded and how that's going to roll out?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that Food and Ag may be able to cover that a little bit better, but we recently saw, and I think the good thing is with having Franwell on board, I think that they have a lot of experience in working in other states, which is really going to help us, because again, with a short time frame to be able to do this and get this done, it's nice to have somebody who has been involved in getting other states up and running and has that level of experience. So I was in a meeting last week where they had just been on the job for about 2 hours and put forth a pretty amazing demonstration of the platform and how it works. Sounds like it's going to be very customizable to what California needs. And so I think that we'll be rolling out, or Food and Ag will be rolling out more information as we move forward with them. But I feel like we're in a really good place right now with Franwell as the vendor.
Carmel Angelo, Mendocino County. Mendocino County, as most people know, is the cultivating county, and we've been planning for legalization over the last few years. I really appreciate the amount of effort and the enormous workload that the state has right now. You're looking at November, you're looking at getting track and trace up statewide, and also rolling out your program in January. As one who is operationalizing our program, I would ask you, what is the state's plan B if you don't make all these dates?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that the one thing is we have there are options, and people are looking at sort of contingency plans, whether it's issuing paper licenses, whether it's accepting cash for licensing fees, those things. I think we've put a lot of thought into. First of all, I will say that I think that everyone's confident that we are going to be ready to go. However, in the event that there are things that are not up and running, we have workarounds that we're getting to. The paper licenses may be something that will happen, and I just think that one of the things that has really impressed me with this process is I think people have an idea of how state government operates and things that state government is not capable of doing. And this is sort of, I'm surprised, this is sort of shattering my own experience with state government. It's interesting to see that when sort of under the gun, state government is capable of moving faster, meeting deadlines, and doing things that people thought weren't possible. So I feel confident in what I've seen. We've got a great team between the 3 licensing authorities and everybody else who's helping us out. The Department of Technology has been fantastic. They work tirelessly to get these systems up and running, and I feel like we're breaking new ground here. I think after this is done, people are going to look at state government a little bit differently. So I'm comfortable with that.
Good morning. Jack Garamendi, Calaveras County. How do you see, how are you guys preparing for, you mentioned that you came on board right after the last election with the federal government and our state policy, and how do you see that moving forward?
Yeah, that's obviously a question that we get a lot about what's going to happen with the federal government. And from our perspective right now, there's really, it's been a lot of talk. There's really been no policy or no directive. So we continue to sort of push forward because that's what we're going to do. I mean, we don't have time. We don't have the luxury of worrying about certain things and then trying to divert off course until there's something concrete or something solid coming from the federal government. Then we'll react to that. But for now, it's just talk, and we have too much to do to focus on just any sort of empty rhetoric. So,
hi, Arthur Wylene, counsel for RCRC. I'm assuming that the emergency regulations that are going to come out in November are probably going to start with the basis of the medical regulations that you put out. One, is that accurate? And 2, what areas of change should we be looking for those of us who will probably try to comment within the 5-day period? Okay. Where are you guys focusing?
Right. So you're correct. I think that so much effort and so much work went into the medical regulations, and we obviously got all those comments. The Bureau got thousands of comments, Food and Ag, Public Health. So we feel pretty comfortable in the basis that we've got there for the regulations, and so we're going to move forward with a lot of that. I think the trailer bill, the point of the trailer bill was to align the 2 statutes, and so that sort of cleared up a lot of some of the issues that we were dealing with. I think one of the main things that we're still working on, and I'm sure a lot of you probably know, is the definition of what constitutes premises, right? So between, if you walk into a retail location and then you have, is there going to be a rope down the middle of it, and then you veer off if you're medical, if you're adult use, you go the other way. These things are still being worked out right now. So those are some of the major, or that's one of the major issues. But I think that trailer bill did a pretty good job of sort of softening some of the rough edges, and we're going to take it from there. Again, that comment period is going to be short, but after the first of the year, once we've started issuing licenses, we're going to go back and we will have the 45-day and go through the traditional rulemaking process after the fact. So there will be plenty of opportunity for people to come in and voice any concerns they may have, and we will go back and adjust accordingly. Plus, we do have a legislature that is very willing to craft pieces of legislation. As we saw this year, I think we had anywhere from 40 to 60 bills going through the works. So there's always opportunities. If something doesn't work, there's an opportunity to fix it. This is definitely going to be a process, and I think we all know that. So, what's your email address? My personal email address? Okay, let's write it down. It's Alex, ALEX, dot Traverso, TRAVERSO, at dca.ca.gov. Anyone need my phone number? What, cell phone? I'll give you my home phone. How about that? No, I'm easy to find. So, and again, my phone's always at the ready. So please, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, anything you guys want to talk about, if you just want to say hello, please don't hesitate to call me or get in touch. I'm very responsive to my own detriment. So easy to find. Thank you guys very much. And I appreciate you, again, having us here today and being a part of this. It's really great to be able to, for us to be able to come to an event like this, because with so few people on the staff right now, it's very hard to get to every corner of the state. So to have the opportunity to come here this morning to talk to all of you, and like I said, Lori will probably be in at some point today to say hello. We really appreciate it and value your time. So thank you so much.